My sister and brother and I, we always used to go off and camp and pretend we were, stranded with just our animals for company. And it takes you into a sort of multitude of different worlds.
Queen Camilla has once again found herself at the center of a controversy. But this time, the scandal has extended beyond the confines of Buckingham Palace. According to reports, she escaped the United Kingdom on her own private plane, leaving behind her estate and possibly her status in the royal family. Before we get into the complete narrative, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest developments and untold secrets about the royals. The drama broke out at Raymill House, Camilla's cherished private estate in Wiltshire. What was supposed to be a quiet charity reception turned into a moment of shock and suspicion when a servant discovered something extraordinary: a missing royal heirloom once belonging to Queen Elizabeth II. This single discovery immediately raised questions about what else might be hidden within those walls. Was it a coincidence or the start of something much more explosive? When Princess Anne joined the picture, tensions swiftly escalated. Anne, known for her no-nonsense approach and adherence to tradition, approached Camilla immediately about the gift. She accused Camilla of theft directly, proclaiming that she would never be a legitimate queen. These remarks sliced like a blade, reigniting a decades-old animosity. What began as whispers of discontent quickly escalated into a public confrontation that no amount of royal decorum could conceal. Soon after, Prince William made a brief but memorable presence. His expression was described to be solemn, and King Charles appeared visibly shaken by the accusations leveled against his wife. Within hours, a private family meeting was held behind closed doors. While the specifics of what was stated remain unknown, one conclusion became evident. A subtle but thorough investigation of Raymill House was conducted, but no more missing treasures were uncovered, save from the single relic that had been discovered. The mystery only deepened. Why was this piece of history at Raymill, and how long had it remained there? This wasn't just another scandal in the papers. It was a direct confrontation with the royal family themselves. Camilla's standing among them has always been marred by a lack of trust. And with the spotlight back on her private home, Camilla's life appears to be unraveling in ways she cannot control. The animosity between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla did not begin overnight. It goes back decades and contains layers of hatred, competition, and history. Many sources believe Anne's outrage over the discovery at Raymill House was fueled not only by the relic itself, but by everything Camilla has come to represent within the royal family. Their long-standing antagonism stems from personal issues, particularly their shared relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles. Andrew had dated Princess Anne before Camilla married him. While their romance did not result in marriage, Anne and Andrew remained close throughout their lives. When Camilla eventually became Andrew's wife, Anne apparently saw her as someone who had entered her personal space. This early animosity simmered for years, but when Camilla eventually appeared as Charles's friend, despite his marriage to Diana, Anne's skepticism and disdain resurfaced. Camilla has always struck Anne as someone who takes rather than provides. That feeling was painfully obvious during Charles's coronation. While many anticipated Camilla to be honored as queen consort, following the late Queen Elizabeth II's explicit intentions, Charles made the extraordinary declaration that Camilla would be styled simply as queen. It was a minor alteration in language, but a huge movement in symbolism. Princess Anne was one of the most outspoken opponents inside palace gates, purportedly claiming that the late queen's wishes had been compromised. This incident exacerbated the gap between Anne and Camilla even more. The coronation debate also touched a sensitive nerve among the populace. For many, it rekindled memories of the Diana era and reminded them that Camilla's journey to monarchy was founded on controversy, persistence, and a lengthy, complicated affair, rather than tradition or admiration. Anne, who was fiercely loyal of the monarchy's traditions, could not overlook how this culminating moment appeared to legitimize everything she had discreetly opposed for decades. The outcome was a perfect storm of emotions. Anne's charges against Raymil were not just a reaction to a misplaced inheritance. They were the result of years of suspicion, laced with personal history, and the conviction that Camilla had once again taken something that was never meant to be hers. For Anne, this was more than simply one object or scandal. It was about the monarchy's entire legacy and whether Camilla deserved to be at the center of it. For years, Queen Camilla has been tormented by the moniker of Taker. To her critics, she was more than just a collector of stuff. She also stole titles, roles, and most painfully, relationships. This notoriety began long before she entered Buckingham Palace and continues to follow her even now. The most notorious example, of course, was her relationship with King Charles. Their relationship began in the early 1970s, far before any of them married. Even after Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles and Charles married Diana, Princess of Wales, their relationship remained strong. Instead, it became stronger, persisting behind closed doors before spilling into public light. The outcome was terrible. A fairy tale marriage is disrupted, and a future queen consort is identified as the other woman. Diana's heart was broken by this betrayal, and she never fully recovered. She spoke freely about the anguish in Andrew Morton's bombshell biography, which disclosed her inner troubles as well as her understanding of Charles and Camilla's ongoing connection. Secretly recorded tapes revealed Diana's deepest emotions, confirming what many had long suspected. Camilla was always a looming presence in her marriage. Then came Diana's unforgettable 1995 BBC Panorama interview, during which she said the words that would forever characterize the scandal. "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a little packed." That statement not only established Diana's status as a victim in the public's eyes, but it also cemented Camilla's character as someone who intruded, interrupted, and stole. Regardless of how many years passed or how much philanthropic work Camilla did, the shadow of Diana's anguish remained. For many, the story was never just about Charles and Camilla's passion. It was about the belief that she had stolen something priceless: Diana's happiness, marriage, and legitimate position as queen. Even inside the royal family, whispers about this reputation remained. Princess Anne's showdown at Raymil was about more than simply an inheritance. It was about a bigger, unchanging story. Camilla had shaped her life by jumping into situations that were not designed for her. And as history has shown, once a figure within the monarchy is labeled as a hero, victim, or villain, it is nearly impossible to escape. Camilla has always been shrouded in scandal, with the Camilla Gate phone call being one of the most notorious episodes. In the early 1990s, a covertly recorded discussion between Charles and Camilla was leaked to the press, shocking the globe. The very personal and private words, which were mocked and replayed constantly, caused irreparable damage to Charles's reputation and solidified Camilla's status as a contentious character in the public eye. Diana's followers saw it as indisputable confirmation of what she had been through. Humiliation, betrayal, and the dissolution of her marriage occurred on a global scale. The fallout was massive. Diana became a symbol of grace and agony, as the young princess was wronged by both her husband and his mistress. Camilla became the silent adversary in a tale over which she had little influence. Newspapers described her as manipulative, devious, and undeserving of royal status. For years, she stayed mostly out of sight, aware that her mere existence generated fury. However, Following Diana's terrible death in 1997, the monarchy faced a quandary. Charles could not get Camilla out of his life, but bringing her into the public front required a meticulous and intentional campaign. Camilla was gradually reintroduced, not as a controversial character, but as a partner and supporter. Charitable engagements, discreet appearances, and well-managed interviews transformed her image from the shadows of an affair to one of service and stability. This metamorphosis did not occur quickly. It was the result of years of patience, restraint, and the palace's commitment to restore its prestige. By the time Queen Elizabeth gave her permission for Camilla to be styled as Queen Consort, it appeared that her reinvention was complete. Despite the polished appearance, the old wounds never entirely healed. Many royal observers, including members of the family such as Princess Anne, will never forget the journey she traveled to the throne. The finding at Mill House has reopened the wounds. What should have been buried in history has been brought back into the spotlight, reminding the world of Camilla's long, difficult path from mistress to pariah to queen, as well as the controversies that defined each step along the way. With the newest scandal exploding from her private estate, Queen Camilla's carefully cultivated image has begun to crumble in spectacular way. The discovery of a royal heirloom at Mill House was more than just one item found out of place. It became a metaphor for every accusation, suspicion, and doubt that she has faced for decades. As murmurs grew to outright conflict, Camilla made her most dramatic step yet. She boarded a private jet and flew away from the UK. For those who pay careful attention, her departure feels more like a final retreat than a short getaway. After all, Camilla has faced scrutiny before, but this could be the first time she has physically distanced herself from the monarchy, the palace, and even her husband. By leaving, she avoids the never-ending questions, family fights, and media frenzy that would only intensify with each passing day. However, her sudden departure raises additional issues. Is this the end of Camilla's reign as queen? And was the controversy truly the tipping point? Her absence has had far-reaching consequences. Inside the royal family, her departure leaves King Charles exposed and frightened, facing criticism not only for his wife's conduct, but also for his own choices. After all, it was Charles who insisted on upgrading Camilla from Queen Consort to Queen, against the wishes of the late Queen Elizabeth and the concerns of his sister, Princess Anne. That daring choice is now under scrutiny, with many questioning whether it was a mistake to cast Camilla in a position that has been hotly debated since its inception. Beyond the royal walls, public opinion is once again deeply split. Supporters of Princess Diana regard this as long overdue justice, a reckoning for Diana's years of agony while Camilla stood at Charles's side. Others, however, claim that Camilla has spent years demonstrating her dedication through charitable work and allegiance to Charles, and that this issue is being exacerbated by past grudges. But regardless of where individuals stand, one truth is certain. Camilla has been unable to silence the past. Princess Anne's voice is still one of the loudest in this maelstrom. Her assertion that Camilla will never be a legitimate queen now sounds like a prophecy fulfilled. Anne has always been seen as a symbol of power, tradition, and responsibility, attributes that many believe Camilla has never possessed. Camilla's departure from the kingdom has further bolstered Anne's case, giving the impression that the crown's monarch was incapable or unwilling to face the demands of her position. In the royal family, appearances are key, and Camilla's disappearance may be remembered as her biggest mistake. What makes this disintegration all the more startling is the contrast between Camilla's decades-long struggle to reshape her public image and how quickly it has unraveled. After Diana's death, She went into years of silence before gently re-entering the spotlight through humanitarian efforts, cautious press coverage, and Charles' unshakable devotion. By the time of the coronation, she looked to have acquired, if not the public's affection, then at least their tolerance. Yet it just took one controversy at Raymill to bring everything crashing down. The symbolism of Raymill House cannot be overlooked. Unlike the formal royal palaces, Raymill was Camilla's personal retreat, purchased long before she became queen. It was where she went for privacy, independence, and a break from the demands of royal duty. An item belonging to Queen Elizabeth II being unearthed there, of all places, cuts directly to the heart of her credibility. Some interpret it as betrayal rather than simply neglect. Others see it as a lyrical irony that the private home that once protected her now serves as the venue for her downfall. And thus, Queen Camilla's narrative has come full circle, from her early years as Charles's forbidden love to the scandals that shattered Diana's marriage, the derision of Camillagate, and the meticulous reinvention that propelled her to the throne. Her life has been defined by taking strides forward, only to be halted by the weight of controversy. Her departure from the UK may be the final step backward, a subtle admission that the role of queen was never truly hers to wield. As her jet fades into the sky, the monarchy is faced with yet another storm of uncertainty. Will Camilla return to recover her position, or has she quietly accepted exile as the price for her past? King Charles may come to regret elevating her as queen, as it was one of the most contentious decisions of his reign. Princess Anne may feel vindicated after decades of suspicion, and for the general public, it raises the same question that has remained since Diana's time. Can Camilla ever escape the stigma of being the other woman? History has proven that while the monarchy is built on durability, it is also built on perception. Currently, perception is working against Queen Camilla. The finding at Raymill, the confrontation with Anne, and her sudden departure from the country all combine to create one iconic image: a queen who was unable to bear the weight of the crown. Whether she meant to go permanently or simply to buy time, the harm had already been done. Camilla's departure may not only signal the end of her reign, but it also serves as a warning story about how the past can never fully be forgotten, even inside the confines of a private estate.